I can't make a PowerPoint presentation. Obviously, you know that about me.
Oh, I understand that.
You know what, Caissie?
Is
it the time?
No, I
didn't.
Give
me a, okay.
No,
all right.
I didn't mean it that way.
A little bit, she meant it that way.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Hi, guys. Welcome. It's another episode of Busy Phillips doing her best. I'm joined, per usual, by Caissie St. Ange. Here she is. Hello. In a minute, Raymond Padilla is going to join us as co-host for today. And here we are, Caissie. Here we are. Back again. We took a week.
We took a week off.
We had to regroup.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, it was so nice. All of your messages worrying if we were okay.
Well, to be honest, I don't know if I am. I don't have time for fucking bullshit. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So
listen, who is okay? That's the thing. But we had realized it had been like 30 weeks since we had taken a break. And we were like, let's give ourselves a week off. We're the bosses of us.
We are the bosses of us. And we did those 30 episodes. And we, even when I was filming the TV show, and powered through. And then we just needed a week off. And you know what? We might need a week off in the future.
Yeah, it happens.
We might need, I can't predict what amount of time off we may or may not require of ourselves, as we are our own bosses. Raymond is in my closet and he's joining us live. As you can see, Raymond did not help me fix my closet yet that fell, the rod.
They're coming tomorrow to fix the closet.
I do think we could do it ourselves. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I think it's just a screw popped off or something. And then I added one more sweater and the whole thing came down.
Yeah.
Guys, screws fall out all the time. It's an imperfect world. Do you know what movie that's from?
No,
but it sounds familiar.
The Breakfast Club.
Oh.
I'm not great at knowing things like that. You know what I mean?
I think it is. Anyway, I could be paraphrasing.
I haven't seen the Breast Fist. Nope. That's not what it's called, guys. I have not seen the Breakfast Club movie in quite some time. I'm surprised. That's not one that they've redone.
Yeah. Well, Busy, you know this. I told you this, that I have been working on. I love John Hughes movies. I know they don't really hold up necessarily so much in the year 2021. Ray, you're so young. Do you know from John Hughes movies at all?
Yes, of course. I've seen The Breakfast Club. I've seen Molly Ringwald, like she's...
Okay, there you go. Sure. Yeah, Molly Ringwald was such a hero of mine, but I've been messing around with a little bit. It could never be done. It could never be made, but messing around a little bit with a script for a movie called 48 Candles, where it's Molly Ringwald's 48th birthday and her family fucks it up. Uh-huh. And I just would like to make that movie where,
Why isn't it 46?
Because I don't know, because I'm 48.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay, but maybe
because 16 times 3 is 48.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay, well, I like it, and I would watch that movie, but I want to encourage you to continue on that path anyway, the screenwriting route. But I want you to write the movie for me first that you're working on. So.
Working on it.
I know.
Working on it.
Guys, well, here we are. We're back. We took that week. We regrouped. I didn't really. I don't know if it was beneficial for me to take a week off at all. In fact, I don't think I accomplished much of anything.
Did it make it worse?
Maybe. It might have made it worse. Yeah, it actually might have been... It might have been the thing.
Because when we do the podcast, we talk about things and maybe it's helpful and maybe we made it worse.
Well, for sure. I have to turn my volume down because I can see that my levels are off the charts. I forgot how to modulate my voice with that 1 week off. I know I'm too loud. Anyway, shit's gone crazy for me in all kinds of ways. But, here's what you got to do, guys, when shit goes crazy. You have to call your therapist, schedule some appointments. You have to make sure that you're doing things that help you, like working out, which I did realize last week because I had that bruised rib and blah, 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 blah. I wasn't doing any sort of exercise, which, really impacts my brain space and really is a thing for me. And one of the reasons why, oh no, I'm going to cry. Oh no, already.
It's okay.
I know. But one of the reasons why I started doing my workout every single day many years ago was because of the noticeable difference that it had on my anxiety and my mood regulation and stuff. And then I, a little bit kind of fell into a well like baby Jessica and or my AirPod. And I just couldn't get on that tramp. I just couldn't do it. And and my ribs hurt. And it's just been, it's been hard, but I dragged myself to that trampoline on Saturday, I think. I also we had a good thing that happened last week, which was we had this offer accepted on a place here in New York. And
that's good.
Yeah, it was great and super exciting because I feel we are a home that has 3 cancers in it, the astrological sign Cancer. And therefore our shells are of the utmost importance. And when we feel like we don't have our shells on, we are like naked crabs.
Yeah.
And that's not a great place to be,
No, naked crab is a salad.
It's the saddest. It's a salad. Well, that's essentially what we are. We're crab salad right now. And Bird too, even though Bird is a Leo, they still have it's been really hard. They've felt in a lot of ways very unmoored by this move. And also because guys, we didn't bring everything here. We don't have, we moved into a partially furnished place. We have some stuff, but not a ton of stuff. Some stuff got sent. It's just a mess, right? So anyway, we had this offer accepted on a place here that we were so thrilled about. And we showed the kids the pictures over the weekend. And it was going to be perfect for our needs moving forward and giving them just a grounded space. And New York real estate's wild. In LA, I signed so many offers back and forth and countering or whatever. In New York, you don't sign anything until it's just an accepted offer, a deal. And so they had the deal memo to sign and they changed their mind over the weekend and decided not to sell the house at all.
Ah, shit.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's fucking wild. And also I was devastated. Yesterday, I could not stop crying. You can ask Ray.
Yes.
I was just wandering around the house weeping.
Yeah.
That sucks.
You were your own baby Jessica, except the well was this rental unit.
Well, no. And I know all the things. We know all the things, of course. Something better, it wasn't the right thing. Something better is going to happen. But I just wanted it fucking done. I wanted one thing to feel like I knew what was going to happen, And at the tail end of this 1 year of such fucking uncertainty, and so much change and so much weirdness. I just wanted a thing that I felt like was stable, you know? And I guess it's not that thing, but it was really hard for me, and obviously, and Ileana went and interviewed with the people that bought my house for their kid to be a nanny for their kid.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
Really?
Ray is shook. You didn't know that? I didn't tell you.
No, you didn't tell me. That's hot.
Okay.
Internal goss.
Okay, well here's hot internal staff goss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Ileana is my kids and let's be real, beloved nanny of over 12 years. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Ileana, if you read my book, I talk about Ileana at great length. I have post about Ileana. You know, Ileana like really made everything that I have been able to do in my career, and a lot of stuff in my personal life like totally possible for me to do while having children. You know, because I grew up like, you know, most people without, my parents didn't even have a consistent babysitter. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I didn't really know what that was, like having somebody help you with your childcare. And at first I didn't think that I went through a lot as a young new mom. Like, I had postpartum anxiety, which I've talked about before, and this is in my book. And like, I didn't want other people to like really hold Birdie or help me with Birdie because I felt like they were going to do it wrong. And like, I just remember so clearly. And we had like a couple people I'd sort of met with, but I was just very uncomfortable with all of it, you know. And I had gotten Cougar Town, and it had been picked up, and it was just like it was clear I had to have someone to watch this baby. And Ileana came in and just like picked Birdie up, and Birdie just like nuzzled into Ileana, and I just was like, okay, yeah, that's it. Like, I just knew. And then Nana really just like took care of me and helped me in so many ways. And I love her so much. So Ileana was able to come out to New York and visit us for 3 weeks. She quarantined in a hotel, and then, you know, got tested and then came over and stayed with us for 3 weeks. And it was so nice for the girls. And then, you know, she needed to go back to LA, and she was like, I guess you guys are staying here. And I was like, yes. And, you know, we had talked about it before, but she was like, I'm this time busy. Like, you know, like this whole time she's been in LA, and she was watching our cats for us until they got out here. And so I was like, well, I'm paying Nana the same amount that I've always paid Nana. Like, she just can, you know, she hasn't been nannying she's just kind of been hanging out, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that was good for a while. And then I think Ileana is like, I am bored and I would like to have a job. So she left, she went back to LA, and I wrote this letter, you know, like just to help, like a recommendation letter to get Nana her next family, to help her find her next family. And she sent me her resume, and I attached the resume and sent the letter to, you know, like mom contacts from the schools my kids went to before, and some people like just that I thought might know people that had like small children or babies. And in the first 2 days, Ileana got 130 calls for interviews.
Incredible.
Whoa.
Fucking 130. And she's still getting calls, and I'm still getting emails from people because I left my information on there, like, just because I was like, well, I maybe I should have directed them to you, right? I don't know. because now, but I didn't think it was going to go so far outside my immediate circle of people, but boy, has that thing traveled. Ray's face. You're like,
That's incredible.
It's crazy. But
Wait,
also,
I know,
Ray,
I'm so happy.
I am shocked by. Actually, I'm not shocked by all the calls.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked by all the calls. I mean, I was shocked by the sheer number of it because I thought, like, because that's like a lot. Like, that seems that's like a lot of people that are like need a nanny. You know what I mean? But also, I love Nana. I mean, like when no, I can't do anything today. I'm sorry.
it's okay. It's a
Like, I
hard
don't
day.
want to be like one of those fucking like white ladies talking about their kid's nanny. Like, you know what I mean? I read that fucking book. You know?
I don't know which book.
called? What is that book called, Caissie?
I don't-
Book, and it's like about the Brooklyn like hipster family and the nanny that works for them. And it was like on Oprah's list
Oh,
like
God.
2 years ago.
Oh, God.
And I think they're making it into a movie. Oh my
I don't
God, you
know.
guys.
I'm
But
the
just
wrong
about
audience.
you know, unself-aware like white moms, you know.
We only ever had a nanny for like 2 months in Brooklyn because my son learned to talk really early and she could not handle our
The
son.
talking.
She was just like, this kid does not shut up and he is like too heavy to carry around. I'm so
That's
sorry.
so funny.
I'm giving my 2 weeks notice.
Well, that's probably also true of a kidnapper. So you're good there too. You know? They'd give him back.
He would just be like, our kid would come home and be like, Mom, Nora took me to McDonald's 2 times today.
Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious.
And he would be like, Nora said my diaper really smelled bad.
Oh my God.
She'd be like, he rats me out constantly. He is super heavy, and I'm not here for it.
He was super heavy? Like
My son was super tall, and so
Eli?
Yeah, Eli. And so he was young. I was the same way, and my dad was the same way. When my dad was a child, he was very tall and therefore very heavy, but still like in a stroller. So people would always ask my grandmother, like, oh, what's wrong with him? And she'd be like, oh, he's like 1, you know, like he can't
Wait,
really walk.
but that was the same with Birdie.
Oh, really?
Yes, but also if you have kids that are like preternaturally verbal,
Yeah.
people always assumed that Birdie was like a year older. And
Yes.
still, you guys, to this fucking day, people assume that Birdie is like 15 when they hear them talk.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, not even 13 yet. Like it is, and it would always, I would do this thing on the playground. Caissie, you know, we've talked about this.
Yes.
I would do this thing on the playground when Birdie was like 1, where I would like loudly to no one say Birdie's age, like as if I were saying it to Birdie, but like just like because I wanted the other moms at the playground to know that the way that Birdie was acting was appropriate for their age, but the fact that like Birdie was speaking in literal sentences at age 1, people assumed that they were like well over 2, but then like was like falling down and like couldn't really do, you know what I mean? So I would like really, it wasn't, I mean, also, you know, let go of that. Like, who gives a fuck
who
what
cares?
people think
Yeah.
about your kids? But like, I do remember as a first time parent being so like, I was wild. It was wild. I'd be like,
my gosh.
you 13-month-old are so crazy, aren't they? Like, what? Just stop. But anyway, that's really funny. Such a Fun Age is the book that I was talking about.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, Such a Fun Age.
Don't know it.
But it doesn't matter. Anyway, I mean,
Well,
it's a great
it doesn't
book.
surprise me Nana got 120. I mean, we've been in a pandemic for a year. People been fucking. Obviously, yeah, they all have 3-month-old babies.
Yes,
You
that's
know.
right.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That's right. Oh my God, you're so right. The COVID baby boom.
I haven't looked it up, but I'm assuming there's a lot of 3-month-old to
and also
1-month-old babies.
Yeah.
Also, to your point, anyone that didn't get help because they didn't want to bring someone into their house during the pandemic. So they've been doing it on their own maybe for like a year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And people feel ready. A lot of people feel ready now to have people in their house again and help in their house again, especially because, I don't know, in a lot of places, childcare workers here in New York, childcare workers are eligible.
Yeah.
Already
and a lot of people probably feel ready to never see their kids again.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know what that is, Caissie. I can't possibly relate to that. So, well, anyway, so that's my Nana story. I am so excited for Nana to have a new experience with new little kids, and then also just so sad for myself, obviously.
It is sad because she's like a family member. I'm sad. I love Nana so much. She's just such a loving and welcoming person, and it's really rare. You know, that's like just a vibe that is very important to me in people. Like just someone who's instantly welcoming, and Nana has always been like that. Just always like they're happy to see you. I don't know why Nana would ever be happy to see me. I'm not a kid, you know. I don't know. She's just
like a really nice, special person.
Yeah,
and I think that like Nana loves taking care of kids and really is into it. Really loves their different weird personalities and plays with them. And like the amount of times this was in my letter that I sent out, but like I cannot tell you in those early years of Cougar Town when I had such guilt about leaving Birdie to work, and I would miss the baby classes, those developmental baby classes, the music and the whatever gymnastics where they just like take a parachute and just like throw it over the babies like the whole time, and you're just like, what is this doing? But the amount of times that then like I would have like an afternoon off of shooting Cougar Town, and I would be like, I'm going to go to the baby gym class, or I'm going to go to the baby music class or whatever. And I would take Birdie, and other moms would come up to me, or the teachers of the class would come up to me and say like, you are so lucky. Do you know that your nanny is playing with that baby the entire class and is so engaged with that kid and blah, 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 blah. And I didn't even like at the time, because I had never had any help, obviously, and I'd never had a baby. I didn't even realize. But then as I did have more experience, and then with Cricket, and I saw like how rare that is to have like my kids were they have such a close, tight bond with Nana because she really, really like cared for them. And there are so many nannies and like babysitters and childcare workers who are the same, are like that, you know, who really love working with the kids. But there are also like a lot of people who like want to actually just have other jobs, and they're like doing it for a minute.
Well,
you know what I mean?
There's
like,
a difference between someone who's just doing it because it's like a job right now, but like for some people it's really a calling, and for Nana it's a calling. It's her calling.
Yes, I know. And so anyway, I just love Nana, but that was hard. That's been hard for all of us, and like even, you know, sometimes Cricket has a hard time asking questions of things of things that she doesn't quite understand, like what it means that Nana's like not going to be working for us anymore. And like a week or so after Nana left, Cricket was just in such a bad mood, and then was crying so hard before bed. And I was like, baby, you got to tell me what's going on. Like, I can help you. This is what moms do. This is what parents do best. Like, I can help figure it out, whatever it is. Like, I can help you figure it out. And Cricket was just like, I'm never going to see Nana again. And I was like, oh no, Cricket. No, of course you are. Like, of course you are, sweetheart. Like, you will be in touch with Nana forever, you know, and you can always FaceTime her or text her and say hi. And, but she'd been holding on to that, like, without without verbalizing it because she was afraid.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway. So yeah, that happened. So this happened. Can we cancel? Can we just like not cancel? Whatever. Can we just like all agree that we need to stop using that as a caption?
Yeah. Or like I did a thing.
So I did a thing. So this happened. So this happened. And it's like your wedding. It's like, guys, just write a fucking real thing. Write a real caption. You got married. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be. So this thing happened. Eye roll emoji.
I get it. I get the instinct to like minimize it. Because you, like, you don't want to tempt fate and you don't want to show your hand that it like means a lot because you don't want to wear your heart on your sleeve. Because
guys, get those hearts out there.
Yeah, put your heart on your sleeve, man. I guess.
I think it's hard. I think it's because people, it's like their natural inclination to like not be vulnerable on the internet because it's such a violent place.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
but I think that like if it's right, and I also maintain, you know, I have a lot of theories about this, but I also maintain it's hard for people to be genuinely vulnerable and not like doing a thing where they're do like a performative vulnerability.
Yes.
You know, performative vulnerability is like actually not vulnerability. That's just like you're just doing a thing to get a response.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Well, that was that. I have had therapy. My therapist gave me a good thing for me to do, which is a practical thing, which is to make a list of all the things that I need to do and then go through that list and think about which things can be postponed, which things can be sort of, maybe there's some things that can be crossed off altogether, and then which things really need to be accomplished sooner rather than later, because I've been a little bit, we're just going to say depressed, and I've been finding it very hard to do things. So I haven't made the list yet, but
just make a list that says make the list.
Yeah.
You guys, here's the list. I do want to show you. Here's the list.
She's showing us her journal that says things to do.
Make a list right there.
Make a list. But guys, I mean, if you're out there, if you're also in a similar state, maybe, because I feel like it's a common one these days. I do think that that's a great practical thing you could do. And I guess you just have to do it. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm working toward that.
It's really helpful. I live and die by a list. And I'm the same way, busy. I really, getting depressed for me really just shuts me down and I just can't move forward. Yeah, it really just, it shuts me down. It shuts me off. And a list is really a rope to pull myself out of that hole. So I hope you're able to do that. And even call on me, even if you need me to write that list down for you. If you need Raymond to write that list down for you, if that's what you need to just like get one thing going, we are here for you because, I feel for you. I've definitely been there and we're team you. We're rooting for you.
Oh, that's nice. I'm rooting for me too. I just don't have any this is the thing that I've always I don't have time for this shit. I don't have time to be depressed and sad about so much.
Guess what? You do.
I guess so.
I think
you have no choice.
I think that you have to realize that because I am the same way where I get paralyzed and I'm I just don't have time to deal with this. I'm just not going to. But if you instead allocate, I'm going to deal with these feelings for 20 minutes, when I first got here, it's really hard, and so at the end of each day, I have a routine where I take a certain walk home and I have only that walk to cry or not think about everything,
so sad.
But in 6 weeks, that walk is, instead of becoming my moment to cry, it's this is it's evolved into this is my 25 minutes of like, I'm not going to think about work. I'm not going to think about all the decisions I'm going to make. I'm just going to look around and like experience something new, because like I wasn't doing that before. And like, this is all I have, you know? So it's like, you never know what it could turn into. So before it used to be like a really sad walk home. And now it's like, this is my breath of fresh air, you know?
When you don't think about work, does that mean you don't think about me? I'm kidding. I'm teasing you.
I'm also really into pairing sadness with like, mundane tasks. Like I'm all about like, well, you have to fix your closet. I'm all about like, well, I'm going to sadly fix this closet. I'm going to tearfully rehang these clothes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to angrily organize this garage, whatever, and it kind of works. It kind of fuels if you're able to do that. Not always, but sometimes it's helpful.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like I had gotten that like pep from the house, and then I organized. I did like cleaned. I didn't organize. I like cleaned shit up because I had been not doing chores, household chores and stuff. Like I was in that place and I wasn't working out, and I was just like eating like just bad food and like not doing good things for myself. The things that I know make me. I was doing all the things that I know make me feel worse, not better.
Yeah,
and yet I couldn't fucking stop doing them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so that was a bummer. But then when I did have that like a little glimmer of like something with that house, then I had a pretty good weekend, and Bird and I had a really fun time on Sunday making cookies for the Grammys. And then watching Birdie's beloved Harry Styles perform. Although I was disappointed that he didn't do like more of a medley.
Yeah.
Why didn't he do more of a medley?
I don't know. Poor management.
I don't either.
Also,
I thought it was
I'm going to
weird,
say
like,
something controversial.
Oh no, what?
And like, as the resident homosexual here, I like, I'm representing a lot of people, but it's one too many feather boas. It was one too many. He had a feather boa for each outfit. There were 3 outfit changes. There were 3 feather boas. It's too many feather boas.
It was weirdly math teachery, because you did your math teacher just have like a uniform in high school where they just wore like a blue polo shirt and khakis or whatever.
Remember.
It was the same. Remember. It was the same outfit 3 times over, right? Just like a feather.
There was
leather. No. There was the like Mick Jagger leather.
Yeah.
That was the performance look.
I mean, all I saw was the feather boa. I just
with the Grinch feather boa.
Feather boa.
Yeah.
Then there was the Clueless inspired blazer, which is just a look I've been trying to have that look for many years.
The Clueless look, can I just be honest? The Clueless look was like my number one. I was fucking obsessed with the Clueless look.
I was too, but I just thought it was too many feather boas. It didn't need it.
Okay.
I
mean, agree to disagree on the feather boas.
And then he did the portrait studio. You know how they like ushered you guys all into those like portrait studios after people win.
Sure,
and he wore a third look with a third feather boa.
Wait, I didn't see that. You have to send me that picture.
I'll send it to you. The deal when you're like I'm surprised Birdie didn't send it to you. Like it's
well,
like
no,
his
Birdie's like this is a one-sided relationship. You know what I mean? Like they don't send me anything. I send Birdie things, but I'm almost never getting a response,
Yeah.
My interest in Harry Styles is just only extends to trying to see what I believe he's doing in homage to Prince. I believe he's a big Prince fan. Prince wore feather boas to many music awards shows. Harry's sign of the times. Prince had a sign of the times, obviously.
Sure.
So that's all I'm paying attention to. And I have to say, I didn't even really watch the Grammys because I don't know. I'm just like not in an awards show frame of mind.
Well, me neither. But I do think that these were the best Grammys I've ever seen.
Yeah, I heard they were so great.
They were so great because like what I've always hated about the Grammys is that they do it at the Staples Center, and it's like they have a huge crowd and everybody's like sitting in the audience the whole time. And you're like, you never know. And because it's like so huge, it's like packed with so many fucking people. And so it's not like you don't get to see the stars. They're like surrounded by like
music executives,
label people. Yeah, I was gonna say music executives, like label people. They're like, I don't care who those fucking people are. And there's just so much. There's so much extra, like in the Grammys normally, and because they couldn't do it. It was like they had these little cocktail tables, and it was like Taylor Swift and her guest, and like Lizzo and her guest, and then at the Harry Styles and his manager, and then like, you know, it was just so Beyonce and Jay-Z. So it was just like you just saw the people you want to fucking see, and you didn't have to see anybody else. And then the way that they did the performances in the opening was like Jules Holland. You would have loved it, Caissie. Yeah. And so they just like sort of like cycled around this stage where they were all sort of set up in different ways. And here's another thing that I loved about the Grammys. I was introduced, because I'm like very much an indie music bitch.
Yes.
And through my kid, I've been just dragged into this pop world that I am, okay with for the most part. But like, but so Birdie's like become really into Taylor Swift too, which is like so funny for me, and adorable. And like, I love that song Lover now. So there. Ray is a big Tay Swift fan.
I wouldn't say big. I would just say like I
got into my car. You were driving it, and it was like a whole album of Taylor Swift was playing.
Yeah, it was. Here's the thing. I would say that I'm an albumist. And so I like to listen to a full album and give it a shot. And
a completist.
Not for nothing. Yeah, completist. I think not for nothing, her album is, to me right now, in the moment that I'm experiencing, I can feel happy and sad at the same time,
Okay.
I don't know.
It's like that Caissie Musgrave song.
Yeah, and Caissie Musgrave.
Happy and sad.
That was an album of my past. Taylor's one of the current.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Well, Bird loves Taylor now, and so that's been on heavy rotation. I thought Taylor's performance was cool, and Billie Eilish. We watched that documentary. It's really good.
I haven't watched it yet, but I want to. I always think it's interesting when the artist like wins the Grammy, and then they like spend the whole speech talking about another artist. Did you see that? How she was like saying that Meg should have won, which. True, like nobody had a bigger year, but it's always like just a little uncomfortable,
Yeah.
Like Adele did it with Beyonce, it's just like we totally understand, but then it's like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
Right. Because like, are you going to give the Grammy to?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And also not for nothing, like no shade to Billy or her brother, but Phineas was just standing there so eager, Beaver, to speak, and he couldn't because his sister gave the whole speech to Meg. So
well, Phineas is like as much a part of that music as
totally
she is,
and those are his moments to like, accept and
she's
like
also
say
like,
something.
How old is she? Like 19, 20?
I think I don't know. I can't. But somewhere
she's
in there,
very young.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so and Silk Sonic or whatever.
Oh,
the new band.
Yeah.
The new super group.
Yeah.
With Anderson .Paak and tiny little teacup Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars.
That is what I watched a clip of that, and obviously I died. Obviously, that's my jam.
Yeah, it was my jam too. I was like so fucking into it. Wouldn't have known that was even existing were it not that I watched the Grammys with Birdie. And then DaBaby. I loved him.
So remember like 20 minutes ago where you're like, I don't want to be one of those white ladies who talks about
Is it okay? Listen, is it Little Baby? What is it?
There's
oh
a
no!
couple.
Did I get it wrong?
No, you didn't. It's just the way you said it.
It was just
the
funny.
baby. Yeah, it's kind of like when they used to talk to that little dinosaur in that dinosaur show.
That is
Gotta
my
love
spirit.
DaBaby.
I am the baby dinosaur. You know that.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
But
you know
no,
what
that
else?
is yeah.
You know what else I loved about the Grammys? One of our Busy Tonight producers, Carly Siegel, was a producer on the Grammys. Shout out to Miss Carly.
I saw that. I saw that on Carly's Instagram. Congratulations, Carly. Really moving on up in the world.
Everybody from Busy Tonight has gone on to do great things.
Well, and here
we
are.
Yeah. Well,
doing this podcast.
I think you've gone on to do great things.
Yeah.
I know.
Elizabeth.
I have. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Your great things coming.
All right. So we loved the Grammys, even though we didn't entirely watch all of them, all of us. But maybe we should.
I just felt like, to me, it was like, because I didn't watch the thing originally. Oh my God, there's my headband in your closet.
Which headband?
This like white torn one that's been missing.
Oh, what? I know. I didn't. I saw that. I literally almost threw it out. I was like, what is this?
Yeah. Whenever
It's
I wear it,
yours.
people are always like, you look like the guy in Pearl Harbor who's like head's bleeding. And I'm like, that's not nice.
It looks like a bandage.
Yeah. I like
Raymond, get it down. Get it down and show Caissie. Just real fast.
I went and bought a beanie, and then I cut the beanie because I just wanted a white or off-white headband. But the thing is you have to fold it so that it doesn't look like a bandage.
Just FYI, Busy's in her room and Ray's in her closet because that's like how janky we have to do this podcast. So Ray just found his, and it does. I mean, it
looks
cute.
like a sweatband.
Yeah, but it does look a little. And Ray
does.
just found his,
So rude. I'm like, looks like a sweatband.
You know, just being the like 80s Flashdance girl I always wanted to be.
Yeah, it does.
Your skin looks really good.
It does the job,
Oh,
and
thank
your
you.
skin looks good in that closet. It is weird that we made you go in a closet.
Yeah, like on principle, I didn't want to record in here because I like it took so long to come out of the closet, but here we are. Here we are.
If my recording stuff hadn't already been set up, I would have gladly gone into the closet. The closet is my happy place.
Yeah, this one isn't bad.
I like enjoy being in the closet. And it doesn't hold anything for me like emotionally. You know? So okay, so I guess I did my best at, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, what do you feel like you did your best at this week? You haven't gotten to the list yet.
I did start working out because I knew that was like, even though I didn't want to, even though I knew, but I felt like that was the thing that I knew was going to make a difference in my ability to continue to do other stuff and get other stuff done.
Yeah.
So I did get back on my workout train as begrudgingly, but I did it.
I saw you sweating.
I did it. Yeah. I'm posting those fucking videos again. Well, so it's been this is like day 3 or 4, I think, maybe 3. And so I feel like that's good. I am trying to do my best at like, even though I can't in some ways show up for myself in this moment, like showing up for the kids.
I was just going to say that. I think you did your best with like, you hate watching award shows.
I really don't love it.
You love baking with the kids, and like you found a way to make the award shows work for you.
That's true. And Cricket did a PowerPoint presentation.
Saw that. That's iconic.
Because it was truly iconic.
Cricket wants a goldfish.
Well, I think you have to finish. Tell us, is she getting the fish?
I mean, I think so, right? Like, how do you say no to that?
Yeah.
I loved that fish in LA that you killed, Ray.
I didn't kill the fish.
Raymond.
I didn't.
Real.
I'm going to be 100% honest. I may have killed the fish by like indirection, and that like I don't think that I properly knew how to have our housekeeper clean the bowl.
Got it.
Because here's what happened. Nana was like, you have to clean the fish bowl. And I was like, she's like, just ask the housekeeper to do it. And I was like, okay, easy. Like, what are the directions? And she's like, just put the fish in a pitcher and then clean the bowl. And like, that was.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't work.
So I should
Right.
have done more research,
yeah.
but no
That's
offense.
fine. No,
I was in
that's
the
not
midst
on
of
you.
moving 6 houses.
That's on me. That's on me. I take full responsibility for the death of the fish.
Also, wasn't that not the first time the fish died?
In case Cricket ever listens to this podcast.
Because Emily Beebe told me, don't feel bad.
One of the fish had died before, and then Emily brought over another fish and we just replaced it because I didn't want to deal with having to tell the kids that the fish had died.
I mean, I was nervous to tell you. Remember, I texted you and I was like, "Are you with the girls or with the kids?"
I know.
And you were like, "The fish are dead," and I was like, "Yes."
I knew it. Well, anyway, I think I really liked that fish, Cloud. So I think we're going to get Cricket a fish. Thankfully, Birdie now does not want one, so that's a good thing.
It's just Cricket only. But she deserves
Cricket.
it. Crix deserves it. She did a good job on that PowerPoint.
She did a good job on the PowerPoint. She's a really sweet kid, and she's doing so well in school and is working really hard. I just feel like I'm trying. It's real fucking hard for me, dude. But I'm trying to think of some things to get them off of devices.
Yeah.
But also this past year has been so, I feel like this is my most relatable thing that I'm going to say to anyone out there who has kids. Like, I just gave up. Like, I was like, well, they're just going to watch as much shit and like whatever as they're going to watch. And I'm not, you know what I mean? Like,
can I tell you something? My kids were always, we got my older son, I think, a cell phone when he was 10. We gave in and got him a cell phone because things were going on in his life. And we just felt like this is the moment, even though we were cautioned against it. But it enabled us. We gave him a cell phone because we were like, here's the deal. We're gonna put like a location tracker on it. It's gonna enable you to be able to go around our small town. So that, but we're gonna know where you are in the town. So we're gonna know if you're at the library after school, we'll know you're at the library, and we'll know when you're walking home that you're walking home. So that was a thing. That was like an agreement that we had in our family. And then there were times when I would be like, dude, you've had your nose in the phone like all day, when he was 14 or whatever. And he'd be like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm reading the New York Times. Sorry. You know? And
mean.
And then I'd just be like, oh, it is I who am sorry, you know. But even now, like my son is on his laptop all the time, and it's like he is using an app to watch a movie with his girlfriend, like, you know, because there's like an app where you can watch a movie together with someone who's not in the same house, you know.
Birdie's done that.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I mean, I think it's difficult because I think people get so judgy, right? Like, you know, and so then you judge yourself and you feel like I should be doing things that will expand their creativity, or like these kids don't know how to be bored, and like great ideas come out of boredom. But it's also like, okay, but maybe this generation isn't going to be bored. Maybe they're going to do a lot more. You know, maybe they're going to like,
we don't know what their world is going to be. We don't
like climate change fucking sit-ins. I don't know.
Can you imagine if people were like telling Albert Einstein, like, get your nose out of that book. You're walking around looking at books all the time. You know what I mean? Like, instead of doing
Cricket's ability to make you guys, you understand I can't make a PowerPoint presentation. Obviously, you know that about me.
Oh, I understand that.
You know what, Caissie?
Is
it the time?
No, I
to
didn't.
Give me a.
Oh,
okay,
no, I didn't mean it that way.
A little bit too meant it that way.
Caissie sent me a Google Doc over the weekend for a project we're working on, and I literally was like so angry immediately. I was like, I can't open this. I don't know how to open this. Ray isn't working on the weekends. I don't know how to open this.
It's like,
I did it though.
You did it. You did it. I was really, I mean, I was scared of Google Docs at first too, but also like I'm mad at Microsoft Word because now you have to like subscribe to it, and I already bought it, and I'm mad that you have to subscribe to something that you already bought.
That's annoying.
Anyway.
Okay, guys.
So that's what you're doing your best at.
Yeah, I think I'm like trying to be aware that like even though I may be feeling some kind of ways about some shit, which I am, and having my own.
We all are.
We all are. No, but that I have a responsibility to these people that I gave life to not forget that they also feel all kinds of ways about all kinds of things. And like, and what they really just want is like their parent to be there, even if it's like, Birdie's at the age where it's like, you can't ask them to share anything, but if they are in a mood and they happen to like come down, right? That's what Ani DeFranco was saying in that last interview, which is it's so true. Like, if the mood strikes and Bird wanders in here and is like, oh my gosh, X, Y, and Z and X, Y, and Z, then I need to be not like, face down in a pile of laundry.
That's why I love a car ride. I love a road trip because like I feel like the bumps in the road just jiggle things right out of a 13-year-old.
A kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I knew a mom. I had a mom friend in LA whose kid went to school like clear on the other side of town. And I remember they had older kids than my kids. And I remember being like, isn't that impossible? What do you guys, there's no bus. You do that drive every morning? And she was like, are you kidding me? It's the fucking best. I get 45 minutes every morning and that kid talks to me. I was like, really?
That's nice.
And I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
my mom was the kind
of
mom that passed out on every road trip, like immediately, just mouth
Your
open.
mom?
Yeah. My dad always drove. My mom would immediately fall asleep because she's like a mom. And you're like, the mom's up till 3 a.m. packing everyone's bags. Then she wakes up to like clean the whole house before you leave. And then she would just sleep the whole car ride.
The key for a talkie parent-child road trip is it has to just be one-on-one. It has to be just the parent driving and the kid in the passenger seat,
and no other
nobody else there.
Siblings.
Yeah,
it has to just be the kid.
Yeah.
Ray, what are you doing your best at this week?
That's a good question. I actually think I'm doing my best at one, trying to make friends.
Mm-hmm. Did you do the Zoom?
I did do the Zoom with Caissie's former coworkers, and that went really well. We ended up talking for almost 3 hours. And
oh, nice.
What?
Yeah, a full bottle of wine on my end, which is a lot these days because I'm going to be honest, I have not been drinking during the pandemic like most people. Not to like brag because whatever you need to get through, but I've been of the mindset that when you live alone, it's maybe not a good idea to drink every night.
Sure.
Because that's how you start self-medicating and have a problem. And I've basically been living alone this entire time. So one bottle of wine really knocked me off my seat. But I also went and did 2 very safe outdoor socially distanced coffees.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
So I I'm doing my best at trying to make friends. And it's not easy because it's like, it's hard to be vulnerable and a little bit like it's challenging making new friends in this moment because obviously when you're making new friends, you're talking about what you're going through or like what's going on. And I am not, although outwardly to other people, it maybe appear that I'm fine or whatever, but like, that doesn't mean I don't have hard days. Like there's nothing more depressing than looking at apartments in New York, which makes me want to flee, but it is what it is. In LA, and who I've always been is like kind of the person that comes in and like makes everyone laugh or like makes everyone joke, but like I'm not in that mood. So these people are getting me at not my best, and I'm still being open to being their friend and like letting them see that.
But I think that's so cool. Like, I think there's something kind of amazing about that, Ray. I do think that there's something really valuable to making friends in this time. I mean, some people might call it trauma bonding, but I also think that there's like real validity to like having people see that side of you, because the great news is we always know that there's like funny Ray in the back, who will show up, you know? And so get you a girl who can do both is what I say. I don't know. I think that's really great. I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah, actually, I had a catch up with one of my friends, my best friend from LA, who left LA at the same time that I left because she was just like, if you're not going to be here, I'm not going to be here. And I just kind of talked through everything that I'm going through and where my head's at about this whole thing. And she was like, you know what? Like, you hardly ever have these tough conversations like vocally with people. And I feel so much better knowing that you're like saying it out loud.
Right.
And I was like, that's one positive thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't help me make decisions, but at least I'm going steps in the right direction.
I think you should be proud of yourself too, Raymond. And this is just for anyone at home listening. Like, if you have a friend like Raymond, who's like the fun friend, being funny and being fun almost always comes from like a certain amount of pain in your life.
Yeah. I don't think that people get that. I don't know that people understand that.
So if you have a friend who's always the funny person or is always the life of the party, never seems to take anything seriously, it's probably not really because they just really are having a great time all the time. And also even when you're talking to someone and they're having a hard time taking an issue seriously, it's because it's hard for them and they're deflecting. And so, so that's just a hot tip about funny people is that there's like a whole iceberg underneath what you're seeing. And, and so like, if you ever get to see any of that, it's actually like, I don't know. It's always, to me, it's kind of like a privilege when someone shows me any of that, because I'm like, I'm getting to see like this real person, and I feel like really honored that someone trusts me. And, it's a lot, like, that people always say still waters run deep, but I'm always like, well, also wacky clowns run pretty deep as well.
For sure. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Almost without exception, I feel like that holds. Anyway, Caissie, what are you doing your best at this week?
Well, we talked about it a little earlier. I've been trying to write, and, I'm not one of those people that has a lot of trouble writing all the time. If I'm writing something for someone else, I think that's fairly easy. I love to write jokes. I could do that all the live long day, write jokes for someone else. If I'm writing something that's like fairly personal to me, that's where I get caught up, and it gets a little tough, and I will literally do anything else. Besides, I will, and if you follow any writers on social media, it's always the joke where people are like, well, I have like a manuscript to do, so I'm building a shed in my backyard. So I had a personal thing that I was trying to write. And so instead I like installed like, a set of drawers in my pantry and like reorganized my pantry. But cool. I did find, when I was doing that, it was like a rabbit hole of pantry organization. And I have like all these power tools and like rebuilding these shelves in my pantry. But it led to me discovering what I think is such a symbol of what we thought 2020 was going to be. I brought it to show you guys, even though this is a podcast. God, this is
a real visual podcast today. I'm taking pictures because I'll do a visual thing. Okay, let me show me. What did you find?
I found in the back of my pantry a 5-pound jar of maraschino cherries.
What?
What the fuck did we think we were doing with 5 pounds of maraschino? Like, you don't need 5 pounds of maraschino cherries if you're Cold Stone Creamery.
Was this a pandemic purchase?
It was
when the world was shutting down.
Top? It was pre-pandemic. I think that Matthew got them because he was going to make a pineapple upside down cake, which is my favorite. And if you know a pineapple upside down cake, you put a cherry in the middle of each pineapple ring. But that's that's like 5 cherries.
You could just get a jar.
There's 200,
like just one.
250 cherries in here. So that'd be like 50 pineapple upside down cakes. And
I mean, can you imagine like how many Shirley Temples?
Well, that's what I was like, were we thinking that, we'll have like a party after and then we'll make a bunch of Manhattans and everyone will be
I think you were thinking that a party.
Like, yeah.
Maybe it was your housewarming party.
Yeah, that got
canceled. I was like, we just thought that like 2020 was going to be so fucking festive that we would have a use for 250. maraschino.
How much is it?
5 pounds of maraschino cherries.
5 fucking pounds. Meanwhile, you know what I did? I did eat 5 pounds of cinnamon gummy bears during the first lockdown a year ago. 5 fucking pounds. I ate an entire 5-pound bag of cinnamon gummy bears myself.
That is a thing that you could eat. I mean, I guess I was like, I got this out of the pantry. It was way in the back. And I was like, should I donate these? But it even seems weird to donate because it's like so festive. Like it's not nutritious. Like who are you?
Yeah.
What
No,
are you
it's
going
just
to
sugar.
donate it? And Matt was like, no, I'm going to eat that whole thing. I'm going to eat those.
Oh my God. Well, at least make one pineapple upside down cake.
I mean,
Jesus.
I guess. I wondered, could I make an entire cherry pineapple upside down cake or would that be disgusting and a disaster?
You could.
I don't
can you
know.
make something? You can't make cherry pies. Are not with maraschino cherries.
No,
Yeah.
because they're not
You could
even
have
like,
a.
They're not even
have the-
cherries.
I don't even know what they are. They have the texture of like baby flesh.
Oh my God. Ew.
Caissie, we can't work in entertainment and talk about baby flesh.
I'm just
Ew.
saying.
Also, yeah, like that is, I mean, truly, like isn't that what the whole thing is? Whatchamacallit?
With the baby
QAnon?
blood. Yes, with
Oh
the
my
baby's blood. We
God.
can't talk about it. We got to do this.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, it's
You could have a
just-
Sunday social. You could have like an ice cream social and make a
I
bunch of
know.
Sundays.
too.
That is, I know. I probably thought that. I probably thought like we'll have a housewarming party with Manhattans. My son will have an ice cream social with all his high school friends. That's what LA teens do. And
It is. It is.
We'll bang
Yeah.
out this 5 pounds
Sure.
of cherries, no problem. And here it is a year later.
If anyone's out there and you're starting like a mom and pop ice cream shop,
Let me know. Give me
Reach
a
out.
shout because I have this jar.
and you can easily drive to Los Angeles
Yeah.
to pick them up because I don't know if you can ship those.
No, it's
It's a
like,
hazardous material.
it'll cost like $300. It's 5 pounds in glass.
Yeah. How long is it
So-
good for?
It's like
5
good till
pounds.
2023. So my husband
you got time.
has
You
2
got
more
time.
years to eat it.
You're fine.
You
I think
have
there's a
time.
party. I think there's a party in our future.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Well, guys, that's what we all did our best at this week. Past 2 weeks, these weeks off.
Yeah. We missed the Harry and Meghan interview, but like, who gives a fuck? So many people wrote on the Instagram, like, oh, I wanted to hear your take on it. And I'm like, there's like a billion takes on it. Like, our take
So
on
many
it is
takes.
like, we love Meghan and Harry. Don't be a racist. Like, that's the take.
That's it.
You know, that's the
There you
whole
go.
take.
And future ref, Google your boyfriend's family.
That is true.
That's
true.
just it, guys. Just do a little Google research.
Look
before
into
you-
it.
Anyone. It doesn't even have to be. Listen, I'm gonna bet it's not gonna be the royal family.
I am just going to say something.
What?
I think, I don't know. This is controversial. Like,
Okay.
the fact that she never Googled them, I live
It's-
with,
right.
I'm not trying to blow up my friend's spot, but I live with girls. I have lived with girls for many years. I'm telling you, the second you match with someone and make a plan on a dating app, like, we know where they work, where they went to college, what things they're on. Like, it is like the first thing you do. So it's insane to me that she like never looked it up.
Well, maybe she figured that she knew all she needed to know because they are like
they're, like,
so public.
famous.
faces.
Yeah, but yes, but I don't know. I
Okay. Well,
I call BS.
Listen, I get it. I understand the inclination. And I think that, I mean, honestly, here's what I personally, as a writer, this is like me as a writer, what I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked the story to have been more, yeah, obviously I knew. And like going into it, I think there is a certain amount of like being taken by the idea of it. And then I really fell in love with this person and I had no fucking idea it was going to be this horrible
Yeah.
and this bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
instead of saying like, just like, I mean, I just totally didn't, because obviously she's very smart, you
Yeah.
know, like she's a clearly very intelligent person. And,
Yeah.
you know, and like for me, that would be probably closer to the truth. It's like, I mean, for me personally, I can't speak for fucking Meghan Markle. I don't,
Yeah.
She
And
just
she's-
starred on my sitcom, by the way, her
There
first
you go.
fucking job.
And she's
So-
always been super smart. Like that clip of her at like 10 years old went
Right.
viral where she like wrote
Yeah.
to the company.
But I'm just saying, my number one is like, if you have self-awareness and you share that self-awareness, like you've got me for life.
Yeah.
And to say like, of course I knew that it was the royal family, and I was like, it's hot. I'm gonna like date a prince. But then, you know what I mean? But then I we fell in love, and I wanted to spend my life with this person, and I thought I could handle it because I'm strong and I'm intelligent and I'm educated and I know how to be in the public sphere and I know how to wear pretty dresses. And I got in there and I was locked up like fucking Rapunzel.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not tenable. I cannot do this. And like, for me, that version not only rings way more true,
Yeah.
like in a
Totally.
like, personal
Believable.
way.
Yeah.
Believable personal way. But I just feel like, but also like, by the way, tell your story however you fucking want to tell your story, I guess is the point. But if it were me, I would have tried to have some like real self-awareness
Yes.
about the choices that I've made for my own life.
Yes.
But meanwhile, very excited for them both. And for all of the people in LA who've now all of a sudden relocated to Montecito to make new friends. Congratulations to you all, and I wish you luck. Is that too shady?
No.
No.
I think that's
No.
we hope you become friends with Meghan and Harry.
Hey, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, she is doing something that we all three would love to be doing, and that's brunching with Oprah.
Well, that's the
Right.
fucking truth of it. Let me just be
You know?
real.
There's-
mean-
when the Legends balls resume, she's at the top of the list.
She's on that
Forever
list.
and always.
And you know
sh-
who's not currently?
Us.
Us. We're
But
not
I
on
will
that
be.
list, Raymond.
We will be.
And that was just, we need I was emailing with my old boss Andy Cohen about that interview, and we were just talking about how it was just a masterclass in interviewing and how we need Oprah to do more appointment television.
100%.
More event television.
150%. I need more Oprah, just period.
I think
Yeah.
it's coming.
I think
Per-
so too. Yeah.
I
All
hope
those
so.
commercials.
I don't need her to have a daily show. I don't need her to commit to a weekly show. I just need to know that when there's an important issue to be discussed, she's on the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I'm right there.
Well,
Speaking
listen,
of important
let's-
interviews,
That's right. That's right. That's the segue I was looking for, Caissie. And I appreciate you jumping right in and handling that one for me. We had the just delight to speak with Caissie's friend, and now mine, I hope, Shea Couleé. You may know Shea from Drag Race and Drag Race All-Stars. If you haven't caught up, you're still watching, I'm not going to tell you who wins, but it might be the person that we talk to in this interview. Shea's got a lot going on and is just a true delight, and also knows how to spin on a pole and spin a yarn. I'm just making this up, guys. I don't know what the fuck is happening. Anyway, enjoy this interview with Shea Couleé.
First of all, can I just say I love that like everyone is
Yes.
like doing this like handheld mic moment. I feel like, we're really serving like this kind of like girl group fantasy, because I was feeling a little certain type of way. I was like, okay, am I going to be looking stupid because I don't have a mic stand because I'm not looking,
No.
like I have a whole sound studio going on, but I love that
Yes.
we're all here with our little handhelds.
But this is what I do. I prefer this because I'm expressive with my hands. I can't be hemmed in
Yes.
by like a stationary mic.
Yeah.
But also, Shay, I'm doing a new TV show with Tina Fey. We're finished shooting it, but it comes out in May.
Yes.
And it's called Girls Five Eva. And it's about like a girl group from the 90s that tries to make a comeback in their 40s now. And it's Sarah Bareilles and me and Renee Elise Goldsberry from Hamilton. You know who
I
that
fucking
is. You saw Hamilton.
love that cast. That sounds
Paula
freaking
Pell.
bomb.
It's insane. It's
And
insane.
you know what?
Like,
I'm just
truly
gonna
wild.
say, like, I'm definitely the market for that because I am someone who still to this day really goes hard for girl groups. I've always loved girl groups. You know, it's just all like you name a girl group, I love them. Destiny's Child,
Like Donity Kane.
You know,
Donity Kane. You were like,
girl, that they are still in heavy rotation on my gym playlist. Striptease,
your
that is my
fave?
jam. I'm gonna have to say Dawn is my fave.
Okay.
Dawn.
Just because like Dawn, she was kind of like always like the slightly awkward one, but as like time has continued, Dawn is a solo artist. Her music is really, really cool. So I appreciate, you know, Dawn. I appreciate the hustle and someone who's just so like, I'm here to still stay and do what I want to do, you know, and entertain maybe happy. So yeah, I'm like them. Little Mix, I'm a mixer. I stand them. So
Oh,
I'm
you're
like,
a mixer.
hell the fuck yeah, I am.
love it.
I'm like, here I am in my 30s being like,
I was gonna say you're born in 1989, so
Yes.
I'm like an escape / salt and pepper lover.
yes, absolutely. Weak. Oh my God. All the time. Like I always, week comes on, I stop what I'm doing. And I'm like, y'all, we literally have to all clasp hands and swing back and forth.
I'm also just like very basic, and I just loved the Spice Girls. Like I like loved Spice Up Your Life. Like because I was born exactly 10 years before you, Shea. And so Spice Girls hit like me at a point where I was like, I was ready for the Spice
You were ready
Girls.
for all the girl power. That was actually the first cassette tape that me and my sister bought together. Because what were they even? The full album was maybe $4.99, like $5 for a cassette tape, and we still split it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And oh my God, we would put it in her boombox in her room because she had one, I didn't, and we would just jam to the Spice Girls. Yeah. Wannabe.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. My sister had a big boombox and I didn't either.
Right? So you have to go.
And I always, yes. And she had the 2 cassette thing. And so you could make mix tapes on my sister's like boombox.
Yes.
And I did not. I just had like the AM FM radio thing that I thought was cool. But that was not very cool. Well, you grew up in Chicago, right? Like outside of Chicago?
Yeah, just outside, like an hour southwest of the city, in this little town called Plainfield.
I was born in Oak Park.
Oh, shut up! Yeah,
Yeah. Listen, we've already started this podcast, but I have so many questions.
Well,
first of all, and so many
we should
things.
introduce
What? Sorry.
Shea to, in case people aren't RuPaul's Drag Race watchers.
You also should see my face right now because I'm like,
Just in case.
if anyone doesn't know who Shea Couleé is, they can walk the fuck out of this podcast right now.
Just in case. Well, you know what? If anyone doesn't know who Shea Couleé is, I actually envy you because you have like a wonderful new thing to discover. You can go back and get the whole history of Shea Couleé on RuPaul's Drag Race. Shea Couleé is one of the contestants on RuPaul's Drag Race, and actually, well, spoiler alert, is the winner of season 5 RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars.
yeah.
That just happened.
That just happened.
Pew, 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 pew.
I lost my damn mind, Shea Couleé. I was so happy.
Well, but this was because, guys, if you're not Drag Race watchers, and by the way, just full disclosure, I'm not an every season watcher. Like, do they call them seasons or do they call them like cycles?
I think
like
we're yeah, right. Oh my God, that's really interesting because I'm binge watching Antiem now. I think we're more of like a season person. Yeah.
Seasons. But like, so I will dip in and out of seasons. But season 9 of Drag Race, you were like, let's just be honest, the fucking star.
Oh.
And then the upset of the century of Drag Race is that you did not win, and everyone was up at arms. And so this is like, I mean, because we talk about like setbacks and pivots and stuff on this show in particular. Can we talk about that? Like what that felt like? Because you had to have thought, like, everybody watching season 9 knew you were winning, clearly.
Yeah.
And then
no, they said surprise, surprise. And it
Right.
was honestly, like, now in hindsight, like 4 years later, it was the best lesson that I could have ever received, because I've always, like, my parents always had us be of the mindset of, like, you know, you just concentrate, you work really hard for things and you'll get them, you know? And I knew at that point, I was like, I worked really hard. I had dedicated so much of myself to this and I had excelled in the competition. So I was like, this is my time to, like, claim my prize and, like, my moment. And then when that did not happen, I was like, okay, well, I need to look at this as being a bigger lesson. What is it that I need to take from this? And really all it did was give me, like, a 100% ego death, just shattered my ego to a million pieces, which,
that is
you
hard.
know, and it's like, as, like, entertainers, like, you know, we have very big egos, like, you know, we have it, especially as drag queens, you know, they're inflated. And so I really had to go to, like, such a humbling place and, like, really concentrate and focus on why it is that I got into drag, why it is that I loved drag, you know, because all of a sudden it was this business and it's all these people have these opinions and, you know, it kind of affects the way that other people treat you. And so you kind of had to, like, I had to, like, really kind of step back and ground myself, but it taught me to believe in myself even that much more. Like, having, like, people witness me fail in such a dramatic and poetic way allowed me to really, like, actually gain even more confidence and be like, okay, that was actually my worst nightmare and I'm still living.
yes.
You know, so.
But I like what you just said about, like, you had to, okay, so your ego is, I've had that moment as a performer where you're, like, shattered and you have to return to the why. Like, why do I do this? And what do I love about this? And so when that happened and you're like, this is the worst, what was the why for you when you thought about, like, the origin of performance and what it meant to you?
The why for me was because performance, entertainment, drag have always been the language that I use to communicate and express myself most authentically and most powerfully. Like, performing drag art, that's how I communicate with people. And that why was that I drag my art is, like, my voice, and without it, I feel like I'm not even talking to people. I feel like I'm not existing, you know? Like, I need to create something in order to feel like I'm really communicating who I truly am on the inside, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, when you say that's, like, how I talk to people, is it, like, those are the moments when you feel like you are able to be the realest, like,
Yes.
really, like, the most raw version of
The
yourself?
most authentic me I could possibly be. And it's insane that it takes a whole bunch of crazy wigs and hair and production, but that's still all me. That's still all the imagination. That's
part of it.
It is, because I feel like, you know, we have all these societal constructs of gender and all this bullshit that we have to deal with, and drag for me is transcending all that bullshit. And it's coming across on the other side and showing people, you know, that us as these sentient beings are so much more than just the clothes that are on our backs or the makeup that's on our face, you know? Like, we can tell so many beautiful stories. And I just love going out there and using drag to just tell stories all the time, you know?
And
I love watching them.
man, you really do.
I love watching them in that way.
Yeah.
It is, like, one of my favorite things forever. Like, it is the best.
It just
The
changed
fucking
my
best.
life. Like, embrace it, because, you know, growing up, it was, my femininity was something that people used against me as something that was, like, bad, but it was hard for me to accept those types of critiques when I had examples like my mom and my aunts and my sisters who are all these really strong, badass women, and me being like
Diana Ross.
you know,
Like,
yeah.
you know.
So it's just like, I'm having a hard time like really processing that you guys are telling me that these qualities are bad. It sucks when growing up people are telling you like your feminine qualities are unacceptable and or bad, when all the examples that I have in my life of femininity are all just like really impeccable, strong, beautiful, smart women.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then drag allowed me to be like, I'm gonna like kind of like put this on, and I'm really gonna embrace this femininity and step out in it and actually feel empowered by it. And then like when I did that, I was all like, yeah, fuck the patriarchy. This is some bullshit. Like,
You know what's so interesting, Shay? I'm strongly identifying with what you're saying. I feel like a lot of times in my life, people have taken things that like I identify as really like feminine traits and been like, well, that's not important, or why are you doing that? That's frivolous, or it's silly, or it's not you, or, you know, just you just feel like you can't do anything correctly.
that's why I love like AFAB queens, like cis women doing drag, because I was like, it's that same thing where people try and tell you that like, you know, overt femininity is frivolous and it's silly because so many times people consider it to be something that's done strictly for the male gaze. And you're like, no, I literally just put on this top because I bought this top. I shopped this top. I like this top. Not because I was trying to get who the fuck ever Frank over there to pay attention. Like, who gives a fuck about Frank? I didn't even notice Frank, you know?
Right.
And so I like...
No one knows who Frank
Hello,
is. You know what I mean?
You know, like only you're the one, Frank. But it's like, that's why I love like AFAB queens, because they're all like, yes, I can use my femininity and put on this armor to show people like, femininity is really bomb and it's powerful too. Like masculinity and like aggression, those aren't the only ways to exhibit strength. Like, guys, come on. Like this shit is like, it's so basic sometimes. It's I feel like I talk in circles because like the amount of misogyny that's just kind of ingrained in just like all the fabric of society. And I just feel like I just love how drag allows us to just like celebrate and amplify femininity and showcase all the beautiful, beautiful components that exist within it, you know?
You're such a scholar of all of this stuff. It's one of the reasons I love talking to you, because like it's more like you're putting on a hell of a show all of the time. It's super entertaining. But then if anyone gets the chance to sit down and talk to you about like the brass tacks of all of this stuff, and you're so generous with all you know, and just really smart stuff that I think a lot of people don't maybe think about or aren't thinking about yet, or like just on the cusp of thinking about, like ideas that maybe aren't super familiar to just everyone.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask if we can talk about pronouns, because the way that you use your pronouns is a little interesting.
Yeah, so I identify as non-binary. So I oftentimes default to they, them pronouns, gender neutral pronouns. In drag, I prefer she, her. Out of drag, you can use
They, them.
Yeah, they, them. And honestly, you can use she, her too. Because
Right.
I don't know what it is about
feel like
masculine
probably-
pronouns. I'm like, I mean, it's
I would assume that a lot of your friends use she, her?
yeah, because like
I would assume
it's
that.
like that's
but I
the
don't know if-
culture too, especially like with
Yeah,
other drag
right.
queens. We're always she, her with each other, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, sometimes when even someone is not in drag and someone uses like he, him pronouns, you can kind of feel the girls like,
Yeah, like there's
they're like,
huh?
a man? Where?
Where?
I want to see him.
But and that's the thing, because drag really helped me to kind of understand my gender non-binary identity, because you know I'm doing this act, I'm doing these shows 5 nights a week, and I'm like putting on the wig and the hair and the makeup, you know, feeling my feminine fantasy, you know, taking it off after the show, but the person on the inside didn't change, you know. What
Yeah,
was on the
right.
outside changed, but I was just all like, I was like, I feel like I am equal parts feminine and masculine at the same time, that yin and yang kind of balance. And I'm like, I don't feel like I belong in any binary category. And so that helped me to really understand and like actually start research, because I didn't even have the language for it then. To research and start to find other people that identified as gender non-binary. And I was like, oh, I understand that. I was like, I feel that.
Shea, my 12-year-old is non-binary.
Oh,
And they really like have taught me just so much about all of this. And like, it's been like, oh no, I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. It's just been a week, but I love them so fucking much. And Mark, who is my partner, who I had these kids with, and I talked about it, and like almost immediately I was the one like who's been in drag clubs since I was a kid, who like, you know, whatever. And I was like, I kind of don't get it. Like, I don't get it, kind of. Like, I don't get it. And Mark was like, I do. Like, that's Birdie. Birdie's not, it's not this or that. It's Birdie.
Yeah.
Like, they exist like in this other space. And like, as soon as Mark said that to me, I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I do fucking get it. Like, I do get it. It's just hard from the outset. Like, before, I think it's, you know, I had to like spend a long time talking to my mom on the phone about it. You know what I mean?
and I think there is this natural, I feel like for moms, you want to protect your child, because a lot of times it's not even so like you that you're worried about, it's the other people, because that is kind of what I saw from like my mom, like in my coming out process. And like, it was funny because my dad was the one that was for my mom like, hey, Marilyn, it is what it is. Jaren is Jaren. You know, regardless, at the end of the day, that's still our baby. You know, I'm the youngest, I'm the baby. And I could just see I could just see how much you love them. And I feel like that in and of itself, they're already so lucky. Like, what a lucky kid.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that they now get to exist in a world in which these conversations are happening, where there's becoming more and more representation, so they can see themselves reflected in other people and stories that exist in television and media. I was like, because we were talking about Cycles, America's Next Top Model. I was saying that for me, my first representation that I saw of like a Black non-binary person was Miss J. And
Right.
And how they so seamlessly introduced feminine pronouns. And it was just kind of like, okay, well, that's Miss J. And I never thought about how it's not that hard to grasp when you just kind of present it in a way and allow people to be like, oh, this is the norm. That's Miss J. This is what we call her. And for me, like that little thing helped me understand kind of pronouns in a much different way. And that was when I was in my little itty bitty town in Plainfield, Illinois, back in the early 2000s.
You know what? That is truly a really fucking amazing point, and something that I haven't thought about until this moment. But Caissie and I talk a lot about the importance of like just the sort of subversiveness of storytelling in pop culture and media. Like, the importance of Drag Race cannot be underscored, right? But that is something, just even Miss J is a thing that like I never really even clicked into that. But you're exactly right. Like, the not making it a big point, plot point, but just like, this is what this is. Okay, we're moved, like, and now Miss J is going to mentor you on your walks.
No
let's do
explanation needed. Just
Yeah.
show it.
no explanation
Literally,
needed.
yeah.
Exactly. And so I love that. I mean, I love that we have you in our zeitgeist now to storytelling. and I'm very excited that you finally have that fucking crown that you deserve. But what do you feel like is sort of the next step for you in terms of the public sphere and storytelling and music and drag, and what are you excited about?
All of those things. It's actually like why I'm out in LA right now, because I'm doing like a writing camp. We're going deep into a writing camp next week to work on 2 EPs. Like one that's like very disco-y vocals, dance vibe, and then the second one that's like a Chicago deep house 90s rap vibe, like big black
my
box
vibe.
Frankie
kind
Knuckles.
of, yeah, Frankie Knuckles boots, girl.
My vibe.
And so I'm really excited to because like, you know, been just like working hard, like kind of like gathering like a whole like team of people camp to like put together this project. So I'm really excited to get into the music. And I actually just got cast in my first feature. So I'm actually going to be in a movie.
Oh my God.
Like, so excited. I was just like
That is so exciting.
reading the new script today. I'm excited that there's all these amazing opportunities and that I'm actually living my dreams, you know?
Shea, wait, that is, first of all, I'm floored. This is the best news I've ever heard. I'm so excited. If you need any help, any tips, I'm here for you. I'm not even kidding. Been on sets for 22 years. I can tell you whatever you need to know.
Girl, honestly, that would mean so much. Like, I've been a fan since White Chicks, you know, like I was just like, you know, like the deep cuts. So
I get
it.
Where are you filming in LA?
We're actually filming in Savannah, Georgia.
Oh yeah, tax incentives.
Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be interesting. I love it. I love it.
So Busy will give you any acting tips that you need, Shea.
Yeah.
I think that you have something that you could share tips with Busy, and that is that she is a budding pole dancer.
I am. This is true.
Which I know you have a little experience pole dancing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that performance, it was the like premiere episode of All Stars.
Yes.
And you did your own song.
Yeah, I did my song Collide, which co-wrote with my really good friend Guess, and was like, I think this needs a pole dance routine.
You felt a pole was in order.
Yeah.
And had you gotten on the pole before?
One time at a strip club in Montreal after a show with Kimchi, Shangela, and Bianca Del Rio.
Oh my God.
And Valentina. It was wild, girl. But, you know, that was just one little casual little spin on the pole in the strip club, you know. But I think that first little taste was what made me want to like go back and get some more, for real.
Okay, and did you take classes? Did you have a teacher, like a real, like one of the girls that like competes?
Yeah, I had an instructor. His name is Keith. Tiny. Oh my God, he's so tiny. I was, but like,
well, they're all
tiny and so strong.
Yes.
But he really like whipped me into shape and was like really pushing me. And we only trained for 2.5 weeks before I went to All Stars.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm obsessed with it. I love it so much. And I'm now writing a movie about pole dancing. And Shea, you just wrote yourself into my movie. So just so you know, you're now in the fucking movie.
Girl, I am
so
already on Amazon shopping for the highest stripper platforms I could find.
Have you kept up like the training at all, or are you just like, is it just like fun sometimes?
It's just like fun sometimes. I actually do want to get back in the trip because I was like going to do some more training when we were about to start doing live shows, but that's, you know, who's doing that anymore?
Not happening.
But like now that, you know, vaccines are starting to roll out and like I could probably get in the class with Keith again, you know, I think I'm just, because it was a great workout. I like it. And I loved just seeing myself get like stronger and be able to like do just random things. So I want to I get back into tumbling because I used to do that when I was younger. And I really want to get to a point where I can do a really cute back handspring in heels.
What? I mean, yes, I guess.
You know?
I could never. I'm not a tumbler.
I did tumbling when
not a
I
tumbler.
was in school.
You
too.
did.
Yeah.
Caissie did.
Because I was a cheerleader. It was required. You had to do a back handspring.
Yes. I went to a little tumbling gym with a friend, like literally right before the pandemic. And I was able to do a back handspring by the end of it. But let me tell you, my back the next day from all of that. Oh my God, I could like not stand up straight.
I do feel like that's a little bit like that's like a 0 to 60 moment where you're like just like casually go to a tumbling gym and then you're like, I'm back handspringing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like
everything felt
lot.
like jello afterwards, like all my limbs, like my arms and everything from like hands, all of that. But it was fun.
I think you should. I do want you to continue the pole.
I mean, because you said
Training.
so busy, absolutely.
Also, I'm not even kidding you. Like I am for sure 100% writing a part for you in this film that I'm working on. I just like think that the world is so fascinating and I have such respect for like the performers that do it in clubs and like the sex workers that are like out there fucking doing it. And also for like the competitors and the athletes and the aerialists that like get these wild ideas. And like your performance was fucking art on
Because mostly
Drag Race.
I was inspired by, because when I was like first started off and I wasn't getting a lot of bookings in the drag clubs, I would basically be the token drag queen in a lot of burlesque and like pole dancing shows. So like those were all the girls that I was hanging out with, you know? And so like I was just like, yeah, because we were doing a fundraiser for a girlfriend. She was actually the first person that booked me. Her name is Jeez Louise. They call her the honey badger of burlesque. She's everything. And we actually just did a pilot together. She is honestly one of the fiercest entertainers, but she booked a show that had some of the most sickening pole dancers with like the tallest platforms and the fattest asses, and just I was like literally at that fundraiser like, yeah, I need some more of this in my life, so let me get in class with these girls and see what's up.
I love it. Wait, where do you live normally? Are you in Chicago still?
I'm in Chicago still, live in the lesbian neighborhood because I really like being around the lesbians more than the gays. Those are just my people.
Okay.
Right. I mean, honestly, anytime you put me in a space, I will always gravitate towards the women. That's always been me. I'm like, hey.
But that's that part of you,
It
right?
is that
Like,
part of
you
me. I'm
just,
like, that's actually where I just feel safer. So that, you know, that is what it is. I just naturally feel
me too.
safer around women. So
Same, girl.
Where like it's all about antiquing and brunch, you know.
I mean, that's all I ever want.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly antiquing.
Yeah.
I could like take or leave brunch, to be honest. I'm serious.
I honestly, I probably would have said that before the pandemic, but actually now I realize the importance of just like getting fucked up on a Sunday afternoon with my friends. Just like, because there's this place like around the corner from us. It's called Fireside. And it's an old, big, like kind of like painted lady Victorian style house that they like rehabbed into this like very family style restaurant. And the whole back, even though it's like enclosed, it's still this beautiful like patio that's open all year round. And it's just like, and you're still like inside this old house with all these like vines and everything growing up. And that place is literally like a 5-minute walk from my house. The Wachowskis, you know, who the creators of Matrix, their studio is right next to it. Fireside is right there. And it's just like, I don't know, and they have a 200 ingredient Bloody Mary bar. So they'll just give you a glass of ice and vodka and you can just go and make your own Bloody Mary. And it's like super cheap, super mom pop. I love that place.
I'm
like
on
literally
my way
giving
there.
them free advertising right now on this podcast, telling everyone to go to Fireside.
As soon as I get my vaccine, I'm coming there to have a Bloody Mary with you.
I was just gonna say, I just saw this thing that Joe Biden was like, every American will be vaccinated by May 1st. So guys, like May 25th, we're gonna be there for the Bloody Marys.
Yes.
Is that the vibe?
Yeah.
Because that sounds so good to me.
It is.
I agree with you. Has it been hard for you? You seem, I feel like we have a lot in common. I know you're a witch. We're witches. The power of 3 will set us free.
Yes.
Do you miss, is that what you miss most in this past year, is just like that community and like seeing people and seeing friends? And has it been hard for you?
It's been extremely hard because one thing that I realized too is that like in touring and traveling and doing shows, you kind of build this global community and this global family, and you start to expect to see certain people on your routes of tours in different cities, and you develop these really close relationships, and you just don't get to, you know, there's friends who I haven't seen in so long. I mean, it's been exactly like a year since we went under lockdown, but that's a long time. A lot can happen in a year, as we've all seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been crazy. Were you mostly in Chicago?
Yeah, it was cold and there wasn't really much to do. I mean, I gardened during the summer. I grew a really big tomato plant that was like 7 feet tall.
You're like, I'm making my own Bloody Mary.
You are a witch.
Yeah. I'm still working on my cultivating. Like, I know that because my grandmother, she could really put her hands in the earth and just get magic to grow out. And I'm really trying to get that. And I'm good with houseplants. I'm not sure what the tea was with the soil, but the tomatoes did not taste good. Though it was like this big, beautiful. Everyone was like, our neighbors would look over the fence and they were like, damn, that tomato plant. And I was like, oh my God, my prize joy. Like, I'm so excited. Tasted the tomato, not good.
Weird.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know what goes into, I actually do not have that ability. I'm a plant killer.
Yeah. I mean, we have lots of succulents, you know.
Shea, I would totally watch a gardening show with you.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
You know what? I should probably, definitely like get into that this summer and just like, you know, because I wanted to get gardening boxes because, you know, we have kind of like a back little patio. I only had like one little planter, but I want to get some standing planters because I really want to grow sweet potatoes because I heard from my friend G's Louise that she grew some sweet potatoes and they came out good. And she said she just had little planters. So I'm going to try it.
Yeah, they're pretty easy. Just like you can even grow them in a bag, I heard. Any fool can grow a sweet potato, I heard.
Is that true?
That's word on the street. That sweet potatoes can be grown by fools.
I'm going to be honest. I might be that fool that can't. Sweet potato, Caissie.
We could try. I'm not the best either, but I am trying. But I would watch a show, Shea.
Yeah.
I would watch you garden. No question. That would be an amazing show.
Also, Busy, I love your scrunchie, by the way. It really is giving. It's just like, your scrunchie is giving.
Thank you.
Yes.
This isn't even my giant one. I don't know where my giant one went. The dog's probably eating it. But I have like one that is like so gigantor.
Can we really bring them back? Can we bring?
Yeah, I think so.
Because, you know, I've seen, a couple scrunchies coming up and I'm just so like, I feel like we should really embrace. Because, I envied both of my sisters and all of their scrunchies when I was younger. And I just really wish that I had enough hair to throw in a scrunchie. I would literally pretend in the mirror with invisible hair and a scrunchie just trying to feel the fantasy. Truly.
I mean, I do love a scrunchy moment.
Yeah.
It is like one of my, sometimes I'm like, this is my Britney Spears look, you know, like
free Britney,
like just like messy on top of my head. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I do like a low scrunchy chignon. Like I'm like a scrunchy bitch. I'm not even kidding.
She said, let me serve you the classy scrunchy chignon.
Yeah. I swear to God, I do a look, Shea, that's like I part my hair in the middle, I pull it all back and I like twist my hair in a bun and then I put a scrunchie around it. And I'm just like, you know what? This is me.
That's fucking.
This is who I am.
I'm like, give you a Chanel suit and headshot on a bench and I will buy a house from you in a second.
Yes, that's right. I really am. You felt the realtor jumped out. What's so funny is that we have like our good friend Chelsea is moving to New York and I have been acting as Chelsea's realtor, and I'm like, I am like a realtor at heart. Like I'm dying to be a realtor. Like, yes, I want that, like the suit. I want like a power bag. I want to like do the deal.
Chelsea,
I don't have a license.
who is also
so.
a witch, who is also a cis woman who does drag.
Yes.
So, it just makes
We
sense
love all
that we bring
that.
her up. I feel like maybe you guys should collab on a scrunchie line.
Hot.
Just
Yes.
saying.
I'm in.
Just saying.
I'm in.
These are all pivots we could take.
Yes.
I mean,
So far, I'm super excited about the acting pivot, and I'm excited about like,
'Cause
everything.
It's funny
that you have going on.
Like acting was that was theater is where it all started, because it was just like I was a kid with a lot of energy and personality, and my parents were like, if you don't get the fuck out this house, so they were like, let's do some plays, and that was like where my love for like, oh my goodness, telling stories, like taking on characters, because I'm an empath, and I'm like, oh wow, you can actually really affect people and really grasp their attention by like telling these stories. Like I can that was like the first time that I started to feel powerful, like I could command someone's attention, in a play or a musical, and I was just like, wow, that's really cool. I want to do that more.
Did you think that you would like you wanted to do actual shows? Like, did you ever have Broadway dreams, or what was your when you were a kid?
Yeah, I did. I was just like too faggoty, so there just like wasn't really anything ever. I just wouldn't get cast in anything. And then like there would be,
you were like, unless like outside of like what, like Angel and Rent, right?
Yeah,
like
I even remember we did.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like that's
exactly, that's like it. We did. Oh my gosh. George C. Wolfe's The Wild Party, the musical, and there's two Black gay twin brothers who are incestuous. And when I tell you, every faggot was clawing each other's eyes out for those two roles. We're like, we're gonna play brothers and we're gonna fuck each other. But obviously there's only two roles to go around, so I didn't get that one either. I was like, surely I was gay enough for that, but no.
No.
Yeah, but I did work in the
That's
costume
really-
shop on that one. It was fun.
right. Because you also did weren't you like that was your major, right?
yeah.
In college?
I did a BA so that I could do costuming and performance. So sometimes I would design shows, and do like the tech side. And then sometimes, I would be one of the talent. And that was cool because it gave me I was able to understand both sides of it, the being on stage and everything that went into it. So it both sides really helped inform me of just like how to be, I guess, more intuitive at my job. Because theater is one of those things. It's like you never know. You kind of got to be able to do so many different things and be able to adapt. And so just kind of like knowing so many different ins and outs of it helped me in so many ways.
Well, it's interesting because, no matter what you're sort of like, as a queer person, or as like a blonde cis white person, like when you limit yourself to just one lane of entertainment, you really are just limiting yourself, because like even like we all have, people put us in like whatever boxes they want us to be in.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like you have to be able to be like, oh, I see your box, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do this other thing for a minute, and like you can catch up
Yes.
to what I'm putting out into the world. Right?
Yeah. And that's actually very similar
Yeah.
to like the way that you phrase that is so similar to me of the way that I feel like RuPaul tells us to deal with our inner saboteurs, where you listen to it, you're like, yes, I hear you, but I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this thing. And it is very that when people try and limit you and put you in your box, you're like, I see you. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I get that. I'm not blind, but I see something else for myself. You may not see it yet. I'm just going to go over here and do it. And then hopefully eventually you're going to turn around and be like, oh, okay, now I see it. No, I see it.
Yeah, and I have to say that like the common thread with everyone that I know who's found like real sort of success and like been able to really resonate in entertainment are the people who don't lose that thread of the thing that makes them unhireable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, as this like blonde, cis, like sort of pretty presenting human, my shit was always like too weird, too loud, too like other to be what Hollywood wanted me to like be able to fit into. And so I was like, okay, that sucks. I'll try to be that other thing, but I can't, you know? And then eventually you go over and you do your other things. And then eventually like you find your path. Like that's the key. And so drag, it sounds to me like drag ended up being the path for you to now look at this moment like full circle.
Yes.
Where you're going to be one of the stars of a film.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like this is this whole circuitous journey that's like taking you right back.
Because I feel like one thing that is really good in entertainment now, and I feel like what people really do want to see, you know, it would be these things, you know, where actors would be in the closet and try and present in a certain way so that they could appeal to the public. I feel like now we have the luxury a lot of times of really being able to say, this is authentically who I am. And like, you can take it or you can leave it, you know? And like, I feel like people are looking for those others, you know, because they're wanting to expand and make their stories more complex and enrich them more with these characters. And it's nice that now we're starting to think a little bit more outside of the box, because like I what you were saying triggered this memory of me, you know, of you being, you know, this pretty presenting blonde white girl. When I worked at this costume shop after college, we would be doing these shows because we would do them for like regional theaters, and I was a stylist and have to pull things, and the owner would be like, why didn't you put the ingenue in white? Ingenues wear white. And I was like, why do ingenues wear white? And he's like, because they do. And then you're like, what is this arbitrary rule that you just made up about, okay, the ingenue in the show, she just wears white, I guess, you know, because innocence, whatever. But I was like,
virginal.
Never heard.
Patriarchy.
Yeah, I was like, and what? You know, and that was like, I was like, okay, well, now I know that that's code and I need to like abide by this code. But yeah, it's like these really weird boxes and things that people set up and like, well, she wasn't wearing white. You know, it's just like, that's what it feels like in the way that they try to place everybody in these little cookie cutter boxes. It's like, no, that's why people are actors, right? To be able to like give you range.
Right.
But it's also like, I hope that the message starts to come across, and I think it has. Like, I really do think culturally it's making a difference, that you can embrace who you are, your unique personhood, and present in any way that you want to present, and that you will be able to do the thing that you love and like find success at it. And there will be an audience. There is an audience for it, because if you are this person, guess what? There's a bunch of fucking other yous out there in the world.
Absolutely.
Right. And the culture is catching up, and the culture will make a space.
Yes.
Like always in the past, it has been like, well, how will people react to this? How will people react to this? Well, now we know. Every time that we take a chance and make a space for something that we've never made a space for before, it's always received. You know, it's always received, because there are a million other yous out there. Not exactly you, but people that are dying.
Not exactly you, but people who like see themselves reflected in part by pieces of you. Like, I think about baby Shea Couleé is out there getting to watch Drag Race and seeing, like, just in the same way Miss J made an impact on you, in the same way, you know, I just feel like it's really, I don't know, it's really fucking cool. I'm so glad you're in this world and doing your thing and fucking thriving.
Yes.
And Shea, I want to say that I love an epiphany, and you were saying that in your pivot when you didn't win that season of Drag Race that everybody expected you to win, that you tried to get a lesson from it. And I think that I also learned an important lesson from that. And I remember it. And I remember thinking that the lesson for me is that sometimes even when you're the best, you don't win. And that it doesn't mean that you're not the best. It doesn't mean that you're not the best that you can be. And it doesn't mean that you're not the best out of everybody. But sometimes even when you're at the top of your game, and sometimes when you're better than anybody else, sometimes on that day, you just don't win.
It's not your day. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I even think about how many times Beyonce has lost things where she was literally, you're all like, who else is there? And you just have to remember that you're like, yeah, sometimes it's just not meant for you. And that is okay. And this is one thing that, and she didn't even come up in entertainment, but Kim Chi, such a level-headed person. I love and for a Leo too, so level-headed, I love her. When we were first, like little baby queens, and girls are really competitive for gigs, Kim was always the girl that was just like, you can never be mad at a gig that somebody else got because it wasn't for you. And she just really did put it simply like that. And I always just remember, because I'm like, there'll always be gigs, there'll always be opportunities. And yes, there'll be things that you want. And you're looking at somebody else like, oh gosh, why didn't I get that? And you're like, the reason why you didn't is because it wasn't for you, baby. Because like, you got to keep on working so that you can be like ready and poised to receive what is really meant for you. And when it does happen, you'll be like, that's why I did the work. And that's why I like waited and kept manifesting this, because like now it's here and I'm ready and I can appreciate it.
Yes. And when the thing is for you, it is for you. That's it. And then it like all becomes clear. I've had that same exact epiphany. I spent a lot of years in my early career wondering why I wasn't Rachel McAdams in The Notebook. But I did audition for that. But
I mean, the moment she said that, I was all like, oh, wait a second. I was like, I see it. The casting director in me was like, I see it. I say it.
Yeah, I was like, why am I not Katie Heigl in 27 dresses? You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I had those moments, like those thoughts, like, fuck, I was doing White Chicks in Vancouver, so I couldn't audition for this other movie. You know what I mean? Like, I just was like really plagued by it. And the moment that I realized I had some real fucking heartbreaks, and then I had some real triumphs after. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I get it now. Like, I see the whole thing. And my triumph was someone else's real fucking heartbreak.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, this is the way this thing was meant for me. That other thing was not meant for me. Yeah. I'm never having that career. Yeah. That's not my career. I have my own.
Yeah.
And your career is going to be one that I'm very excited to continue to watch build and build and build.
I'm excited too.
You're going places, baby.
I mean, beyond.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was such a blast.
You're so cute.
We love you so much.
And Shea, seriously, Caissie, give Shea my information.
I will.
And I'm serious. Reach out whenever you need anything. Yes. And I'm like, want to keep in touch, and I will help you in any way. And Savannah, Georgia is real fucking weird, and it's haunted. So put all your witchery on and protect yourself, white light.
I have this, so I have a witch hat. I have it's amazing. And it's this big, wide brimmed, like, kind of like that Erykah Badu big, like hooded, and it has this patch and it says the art of knowing your best self. And like, that's and like, it has this little hook. You can put like, feathers in it. I put a porcupine quill in mine, a special little porcupine quill that I have, girl. And like that, like when you see me walking with my little amethyst dingling around my neck wearing that hat, you better watch out, girl. Because you're like, she's coming through with a fierceness.
Okay. Savannah is not prepared. You'll see. If you're a witch, like, and if you feel the
Because
things,
I have-
like, as soon as you get there, you're like, oh God,
Because because I love New Orleans. I have family down there. We go down there a lot, you know. And so one of my good friends was just all like, "Oh, girl, well, if you know the vibes of New Orleans, you'll feel it in the soil of Savannah." And I was like, "Okay, all right, okay, I'm ready."
It's true. It's like yeah, definitely. I'm excited for all of it. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, we adore you. We're all so rooting for you, you know, since season 9, but like still continue to root.
Yes.
And so happy for the win.
Thank you.
Happy for the next chapter and the pivots. And thank you for talking with us. And we're going to talk to you soon.
Yeah, my absolute pleasure. Thank you both so much.
Yay.
Bye,
Bye.
Shea.
Was delightful. Maybe I should write the introductions for people. Maybe that would be a way that things could go more smoothly for this podcast.
I mean, I like when you improv the introductions.
Because they're so insane. And like sometimes you're like, does Busy remember who is the interview this week? Because you're really searching for that fucking name.
No, I think it's funny. It's funny to me. And like, it's a real tightrope.
So if it's
act.
funny to you, it may be funny to someone else, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. But listen, Shea is the greatest.
I mean, the best.
And the nicest.
Nicest. And I'm not kidding. I'm going to write that fucking movie and I'm going to write Shea right on into that
Yeah.
pole dancing movie. I
Why
can't wait.
would you not?
Yeah, you have to.
There's no reason why I wouldn't. Yesterday when I was in my last couple days, when I was in just a vibe, I put on Suspended in Gaffa on repeat. First the Kate Bush version, and then a cover by Rah Rah Riot that came out in 2008. And guys, I just really love that song. I just like, but you know that you're like really in it if you put a song on repeat and you listen to it for like an entire 2 days straight.
Oh, yeah.
That's like where you're like, oof, we're going to have to make that list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'm working. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Like working toward it. I had a crazy like Sims thing happen yesterday.
What happened?
Do you guys want to hear? It's really fucking wild.
Yeah.
So, you know, depression. What a bitch when she shows up. And so it's just a hard day and I was just like not feeling great. And I was lying down on my heating pad and Mark came in and was like, what do you want for dinner? Like we could get whatever you want, you know, like would that make you feel better or whatever? I was like, I don't care. I don't know. Maybe something. And then I was like, oh, Houston's. Yeah, I really miss Houston's. You know, I love Houston's.
Yes.
I mean, who doesn't?
Well, some people don't even know from Houston's. You know, Sarah Beth had never even had it.
But that's where she's from, I think.
Well, I know, but I'm just
Yeah.
so I'm saying there may be lots of people listening and are like, what are you fucking talking about?
That's true.
Houston's is a chain restaurant. There was one where I grew up. Well, there were two where I grew up in Phoenix and Scottsdale. And it was like the place that we would go for fancy special occasions. Like
Yeah.
it was like our go-to, like birthdays, graduations, Father's Day, Mother's Day, whatever, grandparents in town. Like it was Houston's always. And so I have like such like an affinity for it and comfort. Like it brings me such comfort. And if you know Houston's or the Hillstone Group, because years ago when well, you know why they did that, right? They used to all be Houston's,
Right.
Around the country. And then years ago when the FDA passed the thing that like over a certain number of restaurants means that you're a chain restaurant and you have to put your like fat and calorie information on the
your
menu. Houston's was like, no. We are not doing that. So they split them up and like named them different things, which is truly such a chef's kiss genius.
Yep.
Because you never have to know how much fat and calories or whatever is in the spinach dip or the ribs, or my personal favorite, the veggie burger, which I have a feeling is probably like the most fattening and caloric thing on the menu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they get to like still exist, they just have different names. So in New York City, for example, it is a Hillstone. It's not a Houston's, but they don't offer. We've talked. This is like the second time we've talked about this.
I think so.
Restaurant.
Yeah.
Because I talked about the French fries.
Yeah.
So they don't.
Yes.
They don't offer delivery. They only have takeout. And so we would have to go pick it up. But we were like, Mark was like, let's just do it. Like, it's fine. Whatever. I'm like, okay, fine. So we order it. I'm going to get my veggie burger. I'm so fucking excited. And he's like, I was wearing sweats. He's like, I think we both should go so that in case there's not parking, one person can jump out and get the food, and the other person can just like circle or whatever. And I was like, I guess I have to get up, huh? I'm like, is Sarah Beth home? Can she go with you? And he's like, I mean, I think it needs to be you. It's a little, it's for you. Like this. Come on. I was like, okay, sure. So I got up and got dressed, and we went down to get the car. And he's like, well, do you want to jump out and get the food, or do you want to drive? And I was like, ugh, I love driving, and that I have been really depressed. And so sometimes driving really makes me feel good. So maybe I should drive. But I also really want to go inside of a Houston's and just see it and like feel the vibe of a Houston's,
Yeah.
So, but you know what? No, I want to drive and listen to Suspended in Gaffa. And he's like, oh boy. So I got in the car, we drove there, listened to Suspended in Gaffa, obviously. And then we pulled up, and I was like, oh my God, is that a parking spot? Like literally right in front. So I pulled in, and Mark was like, do you want to just run? Why don't you run in? I know it'll mean a lot to you. Since we have this parking spot, you can just run in and I'll stay here. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, wait, it is actually a spot. We can park here. I'm like, oh, cool. And he's like, I want to come in too and see Houston's. I'm just saying there are a lot of points. There are a lot of points at which different decisions could be made in order for this simulation thing to not have happened.
Yeah,
this is why I'm telling you all of these like very specific details of like how it came to be that I realized this is a simulation.
A lot of stars aligned.
A lot of things had to line up. So we go in, and they hand us. We go up to the host stand, and they hand us the food. And I was like, let's just make sure they have everything because I'm not hungry. And Mark looks in, he's like, oh, they forgot the drinks. So he's like, excuse me, the drinks. And she's like, oh, shoot, let me go check on those. And so she walked away, and we were just standing up there by the host. And, restaurants are, I don't know what capacity they're operating at indoors, but I will say two things. Number one, I was incredibly soothed to be in that dim light and the dark wood of a Houston's.
Yes.
And I was also like uncomfortable and like counting the minutes in my head of like, how long can I be in here before I'm like putting myself at risk of breathing in, because all these people are not wearing masks and they're just like chewing and talking and eating. Right. Mm-hmm. But so a little nervous. And then I don't even, seemingly out of nowhere, this group of people comes, because they didn't come from the entrance where we came in. They came in from a different way, and I don't know how. And they come in, and it's like a woman with like a very old, small pug that's wearing like a full outfit that says like, I am a service animal, and like has like a lot of different badges on it. And then like two kids that looked like they were twins, like around 4-ish maybe. And then another woman, and then a third woman who was very tall and had what in the dim light of Houston's I thought initially was a service pony horse. I thought this is the moment I see a service pony in person. It was not. It was a standard poodle that was giving me like a very intense pony vibe.
Pony vibes.
Like that's how big this
They're
dog
very
was.
big,
Like it was,
Yeah.
But
Real
also
poodles
like,
are huge.
but also like weirdly like not that curly. I don't know how to describe it. It looked like a horse.
It had a blowout.
Also wearing why I think I mistook it for a pony, also wearing a full service identification outfit, but that like sort of was draped over like you would see on a donkey or a miniature horse.
Yeah.
So that's why I assumed the horse. But then they just stood they were so close to us. And I was like, we didn't even talk about it. We didn't look at each other. We didn't talk about it. I just like backed up away and like went back into the corner and turned around where they had like a very empty little cocktail table. You know, no one's having their happy hours there anymore. And I just was standing at the cocktail table and like right next to the wall and looking at this like big piece of art that was hanging on the wall. Also, if you've been to Houston's, you know, they all do have different artwork in the Houston's, but it's all like sort of similar vibe. But not, it's a vibe. It's the artwork in Houston's and Hillstone. It's a vibe. But I was just like looking at this picture, just sort of like looking at it. And then the girl comes with the drinks and I was like, what the fuck? Mark's like, what is happening? I took a picture of the painting. I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the painting at Houston's, okay?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to put this on my Instagram, guys. 1 hour earlier when I was lying in bed, depressed, and not knowing what to order and whatever, I was just scrolling through Instagram. I was just watching Instagram stories, like sort of peripherally, like just had them on. They were just running. You know how you do that sometimes?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys do.
Yes.
Kelly Oxford had posted this.
Oh, wow.
I had seen this an hour before.
So
hour and a half
for
before.
Those of you who can't see,
It's the
because
same
this is
fucking
podcast, is it a photograph?
It's a photograph from another account. Like
Right.
it's a post from another account that Kelly had posted of an interior. Like this
like
is
a nice
which is also
interior.
like, yeah, but also like not really Kelly's vibe. I just have to say in
Right.
terms of like the things that Kelly posts on her Instagram stories.
Right.
Necessarily. And
But-
it's from another account. It's like a cool interior of what looks like a very fancy apartment. I would think somewhere in Europe is what I'm going to say.
Yeah. And it's
In the back,
it's a photograph
in the
of
background,
a man.
but in the background is the exact piece of art that is hanging in the Houston's that
Yes.
I stood there staring at and then was like, what is happening
weird.
in my brain right now? Something is clicking. What is it? And then when I realized it and I went back to her Instagram, and thankfully that story was still up
Oh my gosh.
because it was like 20 hours. Like she had posted it the night before.
Oh,
You know?
so weird.
You know
is
what I'm
that
saying?
like, is that a super famous piece of art?
It's by Chuck Close.
That is so wild. Well, you know, you love a good Sims theory type
I do
of-
love a good Sims theory. I do feel like it's all a little bit too much, but okay. You know what I mean? What the fuck is this simulation? What happened? Have we righted ourselves? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
have we done enough yet
Yeah.
to make it okay? Because I'm ready for some new version.
Yeah,
Upgrade.
we need whoever is playing this video game
To get the new computer and the new box of Sims.
I mean, personally, I do think like I have leveled up, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
in my game playing, and I'm happy for that. But I'm just like, I want to know more. Sometimes I feel like I'm very close to getting into the Matrix. You know what I mean? especially if I like meditate.
Mm-hmm.
But like that Chuck Close thing, that's like a real fucking weird thing. So I'm trying to see on here, guys, if you can even buy that thing that piece of art that was in both of those places. Oh wait, here it is. Wait, I got it. I'm on Artsy. You know what artsy is. It's like Etsy, but it's artsy. Whoa, they're expensive.
There you go.
Houston's not fucking around.
He seems like a guy you'd know, Biz.
It's Philip Glass. It's the composer,
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's Philip Glass. Well, guys, I think what we now know is that I'm going to have to buy this, I guess. I'm going to have to contact one of these galleries and get this painting. Here's the other thing I want to get. A girl that I'm friends with in real life, but also follow on Instagram. When I was scrolling yesterday, her mom had sent a bunch of old T-shirts to her that she had saved like from her childhood. And she had, I want to get this for Brie. I want to find it on eBay or like Etsy. She had a Titanic T-shirt with like Leo and Kate from the movie Titanic. It's so funny and weird. And I want to get one for birds.
Oh my gosh. To this day, my husband and I crack up laughing because back then, whenever anything was popular, they would sell things on TV that, that teenagers would want or whatever, that kids would want. And they were selling a Jewel of the Sea necklace on TV. And so there was a knockoff. And there was a commercial where a girl was just like, I want to say she was just like sitting on a bench or whatever, or like sitting at school with that stupid necklace on. And like her friend like rides her bike up or something and goes, Jewel of the Sea, I hate you.
No.
And like to this day, we've never been able to find the commercial online, but we both know it existed because we both know. But to this day, like every time I put on a necklace in my life, my husband always says, Jewel of the Sea, I hate you.
Oh my God, that is
That's a good one.
If anyone ever saw that commercial or you ever recorded it on a VHS tape, please.
Or you're the actress who was in the commercial.
If you're the actor,
listen.
yeah, if you were in it or you made that commercial, please know that it was the best media that's ever been made.
Well, and guys, I want to say this. If you have your own Sims story that you would like to share with us, I think Caissie has our email. Don't you?
Yes, busy doing her best at Gmail. Busy doing her best at gmail.com. Shoot us an email. We want to hear from you.
Shoot us an email. I want to hear your Sim stories, guys. I want to hear your theories. I want to hear what you think is happening.
One time you thought there was a glitch in the Matrix.
A glitch in the Matrix. If you've been inside the Matrix, I want to hear your experience. I need to know it all. Please email us with your crazy shit. In the meanwhile, I'm off now. I'm researching how I'm going to buy this painting. And because obviously that's the lesson that I'm taking from this is that like I need to buy that painting. I'm going back on the pole today, guys.
Oh,
I'm going to
exciting.
hit the pole.
Watch your ribs.
Yeah, it's time. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I think is the move. I think I'm not going to do any crazy moves today. I'm going to just sort of take it easy and maybe do some spins. Just have a fun time on that pole.
Okay.
So anyway, guys, until next week, we love
you.
And thanks for hanging in with us. We'll hang in for you. Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh no.